not get him down.
He will, but yeah.
But let's say he does get him down.
Yep.
And he doesn't finish him, right? I think he's spent. Because you look at his fights. You look when he fought Gilbert Burns. Game. Another match I'm excited about is your boy, the King of Africa, DDP, taking on Khamzat Chimaev.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think about that one?
I was going to say, Tom Aspinall, the King of Africa? I don't know, dude.
No, come on now. Come on. I know,
your boy,
I know my geography, all right? I know where people go.
DDP. I don't know anymore, man.
Former UFC fighter Demetrious Johnson took some major shots at Khamzat Chimaev and stated that he can't win against Dricus du Plessis. Demetrious Johnson weighed in on Khamzat's fight with Dricus du Plessis and said that if anyone looks at Khamzat's fight with Kamaru Usman, then they will realize that he has a low gas tank. Johnson added that Dricus will do what he does best and defeat Chimaev as soon as he survives the first 2 rounds. He stated that the awkward style of du Plessis is perfect for Chimaev.
His fight, you look when he fought Gilbert Burns, when he fought Kamaru Usman. He had Kamaru Usman fully back hooks and everything, right?
Yep.
Working for the choke, pounding him, could not finish him,
Couldn't get him.
The rest of the time, he could not find it was shadow boxer. Granted, he might be sick or whatever, but if he cannot figure it out within those first 2 rounds or the first round he gets him down, I think DDP is going to do what he does best. He's going to be awkward. He's going to be, do the kicks. And I think DDP is gonna beat him.
Yeah,
like I
could see it.
think Khamzat Chimaev is more athletic, more traditional, but I think that awkwardness of the old what did he say? The lanky man style. I think DDP is gonna put him in the back.
Meanwhile, the MMA guru agreed with Jocelyn on his remarks about Chimaev and Dricus. He said that du Plessis would survive the first 2 rounds when Khamzat would be putting a lot of pressure on him, and then he would take over the fight game. On the contrary, Demetrious mentioned that Dricus had a fight with Sean Strickland, who was all over him during the fight, and du Plessis survived each round easily.
Dude, it's gonna be a my turn fight.
Yeah.
Your turn. Now it's my turn.
Yep.
I think if DDP makes it out of... I think DDP will start the first round with, oh shit. Here we go. But then if round 2 starts, I can so see an image of like DDP in round 1, DDP in round 2. He'll have a smile on his face in round 2.
Oh, of course.
Like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
You ain't got that for another round, and I do.
Yes.
I do for the next 5.
Because he's had the Strickland fight. Even though Strickland's not the most athletic, gifted fighter, he still has that presence all over you. Well, he does, but DDP was able to figure it out, right?
Okay.
He's had the fight with Izzy, someone who's, long.
Former MMA champion Chael Sonnen also mentioned something similar to Demetrious Johnson and predicted that Khamzat Chimaev would start the fight aggressively, but believed du Plessis could endure the early pressure. He emphasized that as the fight progressed, du Plessis' conditioning would give him the advantage. Chael reflected on how opinions had shifted over time, previously favoring Chimaev in every round, but the analysis has changed significantly now that du Plessis is defending the belt.
De Renner has trained with both of them. He said there's going to be an early storm by Chimaev, but he believes Dricus can sustain the storm, and each passing minute favors Dricus. Now, what he's talking about is conditioning. If you asked me about that fight 2 years ago or a year ago, even 6 months ago, I would have quickly dismissed it and told you Chimaev. I would tell you Chimaev every single round. But I don't feel that way anymore. I feel and I'm seeing what other people are feeling and seeing. The greatness of Dricus, it is something that is now not only witnessed, but recognized.
On the other hand, the MMA guru said that there may be a case when Dricus would go straight for a grappling competition with Chimaev instead of waiting around for Khamzat to take the lead. He stated that if Dricus can go for Khamzat's legs in the first round, then he will waste Chimaev's stamina even more.
Wiry, Whitaker, like he's spot good competition. So I think him fighting Khamzat, if he runs into trouble and he gets through it, I agree that he's gonna have that smile on his face.
What do you think about my take on the DDP Chimaev fight, where this might sound like such a casual take, but there's hardcoreness behind it?
Okay.
What do you think about DDP shooting on Chimaev?
I love it.
I think I love it because...
Why not?
People would say that you're going to grapple with him.
Why not?
You're not going to avoid the grappling with Chimaev for a round. It will happen.
Yeah.
What terms do you want it on?
Exactly.
Is it... I think DDP shooting first. If there's a slight moment where
like
Chimaev... Yeah.
It might go...
He ain't taking him down.
He's not taking him down. But if I shoot, I would say this.
Yeah.
In fighting, I'm going to mix it up. I'm going to try to take him down. Just try. Even though I knew I couldn't blast double him and take him up. It just throws that puzzle piece on the table.
Yep.
So if DDP goes out there and throws it on his terms. Like, okay, you aren't expecting me to shoot.
Yeah.
I'm going to shoot. Just see how you react. But me knowing Khamzat, he grapples. He'll be able to defend and whatever. But I know it's gonna be like, you shot.
He will defend.
Yeah.
But this is why I say DDP should shoot on him.
Meanwhile, the MMA guru explained that Dricus should fight Chimaev on his terms, and the only way to do that is by fighting fire with fire. He added that it's highly unlikely that Khamzat will have a striking match with Dricus, but Du Plessis can do the same and use Khamzat's strategy to confuse him.
A few factors. People will meme this. DDP, the type of guy to shoot on Chimaev in round 1 on a takedown.
Yeah,
but I think there will be such... You have to be at peace with the fact that you will grapple with Chimaev in round 1. He is not going to go out there and strike with you. That could be a funny thing that he does, like he did GM3, Gerald Meerschaert, where he just goes out there and looks for the KO. But you will grapple with him. You have to come to terms with the fact that you can't avoid this.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So if you go into there like, I know I'm not avoiding this, which is what Whittaker tried to do, Usman, even though Usman's got good wrestling and Burns has got good grappling, I've got to avoid this, I've got to avoid this.
Don't.
If you go out there and say, it's on my terms. I'm going to shoot. And if you shoot at the same time, I'm going to head clash with you at some point. Or I'm going to clash with you and I might get a bit of separation. But if he shoots on him, it's on his terms. Take fights on your terms. The better of you, which he will. So be it. You bought yourself 30 seconds of him trying to muscle you off of him, or 20 seconds of him trying to muscle you off of him. And if he takes you down, don't try and get back up. Don't work trying to get back up.
Grapple.
End up on your terms. When you get taken down, you can choose how you land sometimes. A lot of people don't understand that in MMA. If you're going to end up on the ground, this is always the thing. I'm going to be able to shuck off the takedowns of Chimaev. No, you have to be at the peace with the fact that you're not going to be able to. But you can decide, am I going to land with Chimaev on my back, or am I going to land in guard?
Meanwhile, commentators from Punches and Pundits YouTube channel emphasized that Dricus would present the toughest challenge of Chimaev's career. They believe that if the fight extended beyond 2 rounds, Chimaev could be in serious trouble. They argued that if Dricus were to defeat Chimaev, his resume would become highly impressive, comparable to fighters like Merab Dvalishvili.
That would win anyway, but you think Drake's gonna win, which is not a bad
Whoa. I'm not saying I think
Drake's gonna win.
No. But I think DDP gives him the hardest fight of his career, bar
Put it this
Gilbert
way,
Burns.
if the fight goes past 2 rounds, Khamzat's in trouble.
That's gonna be,
That's
bro.
fair, that's fair.
That's really like one of my most anticipated scraps, because like DDP, if he gets Khamzat's scalp, bro, he's in the convo for like, you want to talk about resume that Merab's got? DDP's resume, bro.
Izzy, Strickland, Whittaker, Khamzat,
Till.
On the other hand, UFC CEO Dana White seemed absolutely thrilled at announcing the fight between middleweight champion Dricus Du Plessis against the undefeated Khamzat Chimaev. He stated that Du Plessis is entering the fight riding an impressive streak, having defeated top-tier opponents including former champions Sean Strickland, Israel Adesanya, and Robert Whittaker. Dana added that Du Plessis had not lost in 7 years and secured 20 of his 23 career victories by finish. White stated that Khamzat is undefeated and it will be a very interesting fight for the fan.
Now UFC 319. We're returning to the United Center in Chicago, Illinois, August 16th for the first time in 6 years. In the main event, the middleweight champion Dricus Du Plessis will defend his belt against Khamzat Chimaev. Dricus' last 4 wins have come over former champs Sean Strickland, Israel Adesanya, and Robert Whittaker. He hasn't lost in 7 years. 20 of his 23 wins have come by finish, and now he faces the undefeated 16-0 Khamzat Chimaev.
Moving on, it seems like Khamzat Chimaev is gearing up for his fight against Dricus Du Plessis and training hard to increase the size of his gas tank. On the contrary, the MMA guru and Demetrious Johnson talked about who would win between Khamzat versus Du Plessis. Johnson picked Du Plessis because his cardio was way better than Chimaev. On the contrary, the MMA guru had a hard time picking a clear winner because Khamzat has that insane level of takedown technique. He also speculated that Khamzat would most likely lose all his stamina in the first round.
Get him down.
He will, but yeah.
But let's say he does get him down.
Yep.
And he doesn't finish him, right? I think he's spent. Because you look at his fights. You look when he fought Gilbert Burns. Game. Another match I'm excited about is your boy, the King of Africa, DDP, taking on Khamzat Chimaev.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think about that one?
I was gonna say Tom Aspinall, the King of Africa. I don't know, dude.
No, come on now, come on. I know
your boy.
I know my geography, all right? I know where people go.
DDP. I don't know anymore, man.
Furthermore, Demetrious and the MMA guru talked about a hypothetical scenario if du Plessis comes and takes down Chimaev instead of him coming in first. Johnson added that if he were to take down a fighter, then he would risk being taken down as well, so it would be a double-edged sword.
We're gonna land on bottom with full guard. How does Chimaev work from full guard?
Yep.
Burns put him in guard on bottom position.
Yep.
And Chimaev kind of didn't want it.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like this. I ain't got my body lock. I ain't able to just drag him around and get the back.
Yeah.
Some fighters that are grapplers like Chimaev are dominant position or nothing.
Yeah.
I don't want it if it's not dominant
I'm gonna stop right here. Why are you so fucking intelligent?
About MMA?
Well, I mean, I understand why, but like, I can have a conversation like this with Michael.
Okay.
Right? Meaning that you can accept a takedown, but I can dictate where I'm gonna land. Which is that's you're talking like a fighter right now.
Yeah.
Like, people are like, oh, he's not a fighter, Jen. I'm like, no, actually, like, when I think about, like, if somebody shoots, boom, I sprawl, I get the head off, I'm going to get taken down.
Yeah.
Furthermore, Yael Sonnen highlighted the importance of cardio and endurance in the showdown between Dricus du Plessis and Khamzat Chimaev, stressing that these attributes often dictate the outcome of elite-level fights. He pointed out that, after the opening round, most matchups evolve into a test of stamina, with endurance becoming the decisive factor. Sonnen believed du Plessis had the advantage in this area and noted that he was finally earning recognition as a top-tier competitor in the industry.
And it favors Dricus. Now, what he's talking about there, without going into detail, is conditioning. That's what he's talking about, that he thinks that Chimaev's energy gonna go down a little bit and that Dricus stands strong. Okay, that's basically every fight that you ever see. It largely is a game presented as I'm going to hurt him before he hurts me, but it's really I'm going to get him more tired than he gets me. That's what is actually going on in front of your eyes. That's a broad stroke. And that's really only true after the first round. But that's what the Renner talked about. That's what he talked about. And my bigger takeaway, my biggest takeaway was the respect that is now being shown to Dricus.
Meanwhile, Nasruddin Imavov is the official backup fighter for the title fight between Dricus du Plessis and Khamzat Chimaev at UFC 319. Du Plessis showed his humorous side when news broke about the UFC's backup plan. Nasruddin Imavov announced he would serve as the standby fighter for the main event. Du Plessis responded to the announcement on Instagram with a playful jab targeted towards Khamzat and said, "Guess I'm fighting Nasruddin Imavov now." The comment from Dricus wasn't just random humor, it was a clear dig at Chimaev's history of fight cancellation. The Chechen fighter has withdrawn from several bouts during his UFC tenure, including matchups with Leon Edwards and Robert Whittaker. The UFC's decision to name Imavov as backup shows they share du Plessis' concern. The promotion doesn't want to risk having a pay-per-view main event fall apart at the last minute. Moving on, UFC commentator Joe Rogan and the crew began their analysis of the fight by debating whether Dricus du Plessis currently holds an advantage over Khamzat Chimaev. They noted the difficulty in making predictions due to many unanswered questions surrounding Chimaev's recent performances. Brendan Schaub pointed out that although Chimaev had previously dominated with explosive takedowns, failed to do so against elite fighters like Kamaru Usman and Gilbert Burns.
Give DDP the advantage over Khamzat right now. That's a bet on it.
It's hard to say
It's
because
hard-
we don't know what happens.
There's
to
so many
Khamzat.
question marks. We don't know.
Khamzat just shoots from like 15 feet away and gets a hold of your
But
legs
I look
so
at the
quick.
Kamaru. He didn't do that to Kamaru Usman. He didn't do it to Gilbert
He did.
Burns. We go in the third, fourth, and fifth.
He gave Usman for the first 3 rounds a nightmare. He was,
Yeah,
And he
he was
gassed
taking him
out,
down.
but
Yeah.
he couldn't finish him.
That's
That's
true.
an older
True.
Usman.
That's true.
That's not a vintage Usman.
was-
in their prime?
He was
DDP.
taking him down decisively.
Who was
though. He
Khamzat
outrageous wrestling.
supposed to fight? That was a last-minute replacement. Was Usman? Who
Nate
was
Diaz.
Khamzat?
And then they put in.
That's right.
And then they put in
That was-
Kevin Holland.
That would have been horrible.
That would have been
bad.
Yeah, that
That
would
would've
have
been
been.
The UFC was like, we're getting backlash.
That would have been.
We're getting some backlash here.
been
Let's Kevin, you
crazy.
down? He's like, I guess.
That would have been crazy.
Styles make fights, and you never seen Dricus fight a good wrestler.
Joe Rogan also emphasized that middleweight, which is 185 pounds, seemed like Chimaev's ideal weight class due to less strain from weight cuts. Rogan mentioned that Khamzat gassed out during his fight with Usman at that same weight, but still managed to edge out despite Kamaru being a world-class champion. Despite this, Joe highlighted that Chimaev's raw talent and grappling ability remained a major threat to the fighters in his division.
Good wrestler, and Khamzat's one of the best. So
And you got to think his endurance is probably going to be better at 85 than it was at 70 because of the cut.
Yeah.
For Khamzat, it's like 85 is really where he should have been all along.
But again, he gassed out against Usman. That was at 85. Usman went up to 85.
Usman's a world champion, you know. In the third round, Usman did what a world champion does. He rallied, and then Usman
the world champion,
some good
DDP.
shots. Yep,
And he's bigger.
Yeah.
And you look at Gilbert too.
Before that fight,
Gilbert weathered the storm, and then he gave him hell also.
Dana White confirms Khamzat Chimaev is next.
That's
Before
fun.
the fight, though.
I wonder where that is. That's got to be Vegas,
I'll
right?
tell you, Khamzat? No,
Saudi
that's going to
Arabia.
be in Saudi Arabia.
On the other hand, Duplessis had praise for Khamzat and mentioned that he is deserving of a title fight. He added that his fights with Gilbert Burns, Kamaru Usman, and Robert Whittaker have earned him a place for a title shot. Dricus praised Khamzat as an amazing fighter and said that he is among the top 10.
Yeah, I think Khamzat's an incredible fighter, but you know, you're fighting in the top 5 of the UFC. Everybody's incredible fighters. You know, Khamzat is an absolute animal, absolutely. But I mean, you look at the Gilbert Burns fight, which you could have scored either way. You look at the Kamaru Usman fight, and you go, yeah, he did beat Robert Whittaker, but obviously his teeth broke back. It's unfortunate. He is really good. So, you know, deserving of a title shot 100% after that performance. It's just an idea that I'm running by. John Jones is the only current American UFC champion, right?
Yep.
So now you have to ask your question. The UFC is a massive American company.
Dricus Duplessis also confidently addressed the challenge of facing Khamzat Chimaev. He acknowledged that Chimaev would likely be able to take him down during their fight. However, Duplessis emphasized that the real test would be Chimaev's ability to keep him grounded. He stated that he would not shy away from grappling Khamzat and he will take him down for good.
Is Khamzat going to be able to take me down? Absolutely. Absolutely, he'll be able to take me down. This is how a fight works. I would hope so. Isn't he like some Swedish champion or something? I would hope he could take me down. But then he has to deal with me on the ground and he has to keep me there. Can I take Khamzat down? Absolutely. Am I going to take Khamzat down? Absolutely. I'm not scared of Khamzat wrestling. I'm not evading. I'm not trying to stay off the ground with Khamzat. That's the mistake everybody makes.
Meanwhile, Khamzat Chimaev offered a brutal warning to Dricus Duplessis and said that it's his time to come and take over the UFC. He has trolled Dricus multiple times, showing that he has bad blood against the champion.
Now it's my time. Yeah, don't run too much. Let's wait, man.
On the other hand, Adam Zubayrayev talked to Khamzat Chimaev about Dricus Duplessis, and Chimaev gave a shocking warning to his rival. Adam told Chimaev, Khamzat, Duplessis' coach, said their camp is focused on preparing for a ground war. In response, Khamzat stated that he isn't preparing for war, but rather a full-on massacre. He stated, let them prep for war. I'm prepping for murder. What is even surprising is that Dricus came up with a response of his own and shunned Khamzat in a social media war. Duplessis added, wow, that's the first time I've heard that one. Shakespeare in the house. Kamaru Usman and Henry Cejudo also discussed the potential outcome of a fight between Khamzat Chimaev and Dricus Duplessis. Kamaru believed Chimaev could definitely take Duplessis down due to his strength, size, and dominance in the first round, particularly when he is still dry and fresh. However, Usman was unsure whether Chimaev could keep Duplessis down, given Duplessis' strong scrambles and resilience. Despite Chimaev's grappling advantage, Kamaru noted that Duplessis was extremely tough and relentless, and it will be hard for Chimaev to finish him.
Could he pull that same style against Dricus Duplessis? Because I will say this.
1,000%.
Yeah,
1,000%.
Could he get him down 100%? But could he keep him down? The guy likes to scramble.
Do you think Dricus can beat Khamzat? Will 2 rounds be enough for Chimaev, or will he gas out? We would love to hear your thoughts. Let us know in the comments section below and subscribe for more content like this.